Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 23. Jamaica will continue to quarantine international travelers as part of its measures to limit local impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton made that assertion at his ministry's recent virtual press briefing. The decision is in spite of the new Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, recommendation that quarantine, sampling, and isolation of international travelers is no longer necessary. But Dr. Tufton says it is necessary for all measures to be taken in response to the virus, given its high reproductive rate, 4 to 14 days incubation period, and the lack of symptoms in some infected persons, as well as the high mortality rate and unavailability of an approved vaccine.
A comprehensive response strategy is therefore a must, and comprehensive meaning a holistic strategy, which includes case management, with the identification, isolation, testing, and clinical care of all cases, infection prevention and control measures, contact management that includes contact tracing, as well as quarantine.
He says Jamaica would be in a position to abandon the requirements for overseas travelers if it is guaranteed that the countries from where the visitors come have a built-in screening system, which prevents infected residents or those who are suspected of having the virus from traveling.
And what the conclusion is, based on the numbers, based on where we are, the countries we interact with, is that there is no guarantee that those jurisdictions have those foolproof measures, and therefore we have to manage our own internal dynamics to maximize or minimize the risks that COVID, this highly contagious virus, poses.
Data from the Norman Manley International Airport shows that approximately 33,500 passengers are projected to arrive there in November and another 43,386 in December, including from countries with spikes and increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, Jamaicans are being urged to exercise caution during the Christmas period to help avoid a surge in COVID-19 cases, which could continue into January.
So if we get complacent, if we decide to practice in our traditional, cultural, customary form a Christmas of excursion and mixing and mingling, the reality is we could face a much greater risk of spread of the COVID virus.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa McKenzie echoed the minister's sentiments, stressing that it is important that we do not overrun the health system's ability to cope with COVID cases.
But it is really up to us to ensure that we adhere to the restrictions that there are in terms of the mask wearing, the physical distancing, staying home if you are ill, and of course the quarantine period for those persons that are coming in.
In other health news, the Portfolio Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says he is awaiting the results of a comprehensive investigation ordered into the operations of the National Blood Transfusion Service. Minister Tufton ordered the probe amid reports of irregularities at the agency responsible for the collection, testing, and distribution of all blood and its byproducts across the island. Dr. Tufton says the report of an alleged process error is of great concern. He is, however, quick to assure the public that no contaminated blood product has been issued. And while reiterating the safety of the donation and receipt of blood products, the health minister is urging the public to make donating blood a priority this Christmas period. 887 students from 9 primary schools in Western Kingston have been provided with tablet computers as the government continues the distribution of devices under the Tablets in Schools program. During a ceremony at the Denham Town Primary School on Friday, 118 tablets were handed over for students at that institution, 50 for students of St. Andrew Primary and 148 for St. Aloysius Primary. Another 120 were given to St. George's Girls Primary, 100 each to North Street Congregational and St. Anne's Primary, along with 80 going to Central Branch All Age, 50 to St. Albans Primary and Infant, and 21 to Shatola Melnathan Educational Center. Through eLearning Jamaica, 40,000 tablets are being distributed to students in grades 4 to 6 who are on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH. Minister of Education Fable Williams says efforts also continue to equip schools with internet access while the government works to improve the country's broadband infrastructure.
And there were 235 schools across Jamaica that had no internet connectivity. We're using the satellite technology, And I know within the last couple of weeks, 40 schools would have gotten their internet connectivity, and we're rolling out. We have 60 more to go in terms of the 100 that we've targeted.
She says discussions are underway with vendors for connectivity at the other schools. And finally, with amendments to the Independent Commission of Investigations (INDICOM) Act pending, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the commission will not be given prosecutorial powers. The decision follows a Privy Council court ruling handed down in May of this year, which found that INDICOM had no power to arrest or prosecute police personnel. While speaking at a recent JIS think tank, Minister Chuck says that although INDICOM would not have prosecutorial powers, government was strengthening the prosecuting capacity of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP.
During the last 4 years as Minister of Justice, we have augmented and improved the Director of Public Prosecutions personnel. We increased the number of prosecutors by over 50%. And in doing so, they have maybe 60 and more prosecutors. So the effect of that is that the DPP is now capable of doing all these prosecutions, and therefore we are not going to give the power of prosecution to INDICOM.
Minister Chuck says there are a number of other areas to be amended in the law which will strengthen the investigative powers of INDICOM. He says the ministry intends to give INDICOM corporate status so that it can deal independently of the government, which he says will improve the administrative processes of the Commission. Minister Chuck has also expressed confidence that the INDICOM bill will be tabled in Parliament during the current fiscal year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.